Can you trust your own eyes? We saw Lester alone in the courtyard, but the video was manipulated. Nicky the Neck says he saw his wife with someone else, but was he seeing manipulated video? Can you trust your own ears? Camila tells Loretta many things about her time with Nicky the Neck, but Camila has seen a picture of Loretta married to Oliver. Does she recognize Loretta, and did she lie to her? Can you trust your own fingers? Lester was running from a killer. He sent a text message to his wife that read, "It's beautiful." But was that an autocorrect, or maybe a mistake of the voice-to-text feature? When he wasn't saying "it's beautiful," he was saying "it's Bo Tillman." Can you trust your own clue crew to discover the killer? 100% of the time. Let's solve Only Murders in the Building, Season 5, Episode 8, Cuckoo Chicks. Mabel gathers a ragtag group to crash an exclusive ladies' night. While trying to save the Arconia from being sold, Charles and Oliver accidentally end up in couples therapy. I'll be breaking down each episode for clues, suspects, and red herrings on the hunt to learn who killed Lester, Nicky, and the finger owner. Spoilers for the first 4 seasons and the first 8 episodes of Season 5 of omitb. If you haven't seen all these episodes, pause this video. Bring some wait, I don't want to swear. Don't swear. And then come back and watch. Use the timestamp below to jump to the topic or subject that you would like to listen to and skip past things you're not interested in. It's time for the credit clue Easter eggs. In Charles's apartment, look at this cocktail shaker. Ooh, it'll bring back memories for Camila. Plus, on the roof are those 3 women out on Ladies' Night. Oh, what a night. In the closing credits, we see Ladies' Night's cocktail napkins by Camila White. We see the Bird app, and we also see Camila on the cover of Life in Excess. Alright, Clue Crew, it is time. We have to solve the mystery this week. After episode 8, but before episode 9 drops, we need to solve it right now. Why? Because last year in season 4, the show revealed Marshall as the killer in episode 9. In season 3, episode 9 showed Donna poisoning Ben Glenroy in the first murder of Ben. In season 2, the show revealed that Poppy was actually Becky in episode 9, and it left the mystery whodunit as an either-or option. Either Poppy was the killer or Cinda Canning was the killer. In Season 1, Episode 9, it revealed that the sex toy in Tim Kono's apartment was actually a bassoon cleaner. The episode also revealed that Jan had lied to Charles. So, I'm guessing that there is a good chance that if they don't come out and say the murderer in Episode 9, I think we're going to be pointed in the direction of who it is. At the end of today's podcast, I'll lock in my official picks for the killer or killers of Lester, Nicky the Neck, and the finger owner. Personally, I hope next week's episode 9 doesn't give away the killer like Marshall last year. But some of these questions, these multiple questions, we need answers for. And let's get to these questions, these dangling clues we've got. Way back in episode 1, maybe, we saw the playing card with the map to the Velvet Room on it. It had those numbers, 6, 24, 00. Those numbers unlocked the roulette wheel safe. Now at the time, many people, including me, thought, well, 6, 24, 00, that could be a date. What date would June 24th of 2000 be? Maybe that date was Romy's birthday. What do those numbers mean, if anything? Is that a dangling clue? What about the table in the break room? Somebody scratched "Die, Lester, die" in the table. If it was Randall, and Randall's admitting to it, Randall spelled Lester the way the human Lester is spelled, not the way the robot Lester is spelled. A dangling clue, maybe a dangling question, is we all were told that Lester, the robot, wants everybody's fingerprints. Why has the podcast trio never shown the chopped off fingers' fingerprints to Lester, the robot? That's gotta be something, right? Another dangling thread for me is Lorraine and the stroller in the Arconia. What's especially odd about it is that the podcast trio, they don't know about that stroller that Lorraine pushed, which had the 2 prams in it. So if it's a clue, how would our podcast trio even know to ask Lorraine about those 2 kids? Still, it'd be nice to get answers. What are the other dangling clues that you need to know? Go down in the comments and let me know. I say it all the time, but I need any subscription, any like on the video, any comment on the video on YouTube. It really helps me fight the LESTR version in my life, the YouTube algorithm. If you're on audio podcast, please subscribe. Reach out to me on social media at PHQ. The word double, the single letter P for podcast, HQ for headquarters. I want to hear from you. Before we run down the suspects, let's see what episode 8 taught us about the victims. First up, Lester the doorman. As Lester was dying, he blew the bird whistle, the bird call whistle, to make sure that the birding app would record what happened. Even in his death, Lester is always trying to protect the Arconia. Nicky the neck. Now, all the things we learn about Nicky are from Camila White's perspective, so they could be skewed a bit. For example, Nicky wears the flower on the opposite side that he normally wears it in all of her flashbacks. Nicky tells Camila he only hits on ladies if they want him to. Nicky is acceptable when Camila pitches a private ladies' night at the Velvet Room. Camila is encouraging him to sell the Velvet Room, but he explains it's his wife's place and legacy. And Nicky loves his wife. He wants to stay with his wife even though he knows he's been unfaithful. Now jump forward 2 years. Camila finds Nicky, who's been missing for possibly weeks. Nicky says his wife s5e08 has been screwing someone else. It's important to note, Nicky doesn't say his wife was with another man. He just says he saw them. It was pathetic. Could it have been a woman that s5e08 was with, like Lorraine? When Nicky is at his lowest, Camila is able to convince Nicky to join her in the Arconia casino plan. In addition to this, Camila tells Nicky that she wants a private game on a Saturday night with just her, Bash, and Jay. Theoretically, this is the bet for who gets to open the first casino in New York. Now let's turn to the suspects, and I'm going to admit that there are probably more suspects that we should talk about, like s5e08, Mayor Tillman, Bash, that I should talk about, but in this instance, because they didn't appear in this episode, I'm going to wait until we get to the tinfoil section, the section where I announce my official selection for the killer. Althea. Althea comes over to Mabel's apartment in the West Tower. Althea gives Mabel an invite to the ladies' night at the Velvet Room. V is too busy with her big hotshot life, but she knows that the party is being thrown by Camila White. When Mabel says, "I love you now, Althea," V responds, "That makes everybody." Lester's wife, Lorraine. Lorraine is hanging out in the Arconia lobby when Mabel, Detective Williams, and Loretta come in. Lorraine isn't sleeping since she found out that her husband was murdered. She has come to the casino to confront the killer. Lorraine is frustrated at all these rich people that her husband had to take care of. She's miserable, but she does have a bit of happiness seeing that someone, in this case wasn't it Oliver, has cleaned Lester's hat after all. Or did Oliver not do it because he brought the hat to the cleaners, then found Nicky the next body and ran? So who cleaned Lester's hat? Lorraine wishes that the old elevator crank was still in the display case, which sets us off on a deep dive, and Lorraine looks at the box of clues, and she's the one who blows the bird call whistle. Randall. On ladies' night, it's a woman letting people into the Velvet Room, not Randall. The night of the murders, he's the one who picks up the bloody elevator crank, and he picks it up like with a garbage bag so he doesn't touch it. Later, that elevator crank is found in Nicky's office. Did Randall put it there? Camila is down with the doorman. Why is she upset with Randall? Camila White. When this episode starts, Camila has already acquired 49% of all the Arconia units. One more apartment and she'll move to 51% ownership of the building. According to certain articles, Camila believes in past lives, and she believes that she's almost got the spirit of her reincarnated grandmother in her. Ultra-competitive Camila really doesn't get as frustrated as you would think when she keeps losing to Lorraine and Mabel. Perhaps because Camila keeps getting distracted by somebody shaking the cocktail shaker, which reminds her of that sweet, sweet man, Nicky the Neck. Camila even remembers a meat cleaver, most likely the meat cleaver that ends up in Nicky's body, being slammed into a table in the Velvet Room. look at this hand. Whose hand is it? Look at this ring. I believe this would be the person's right hand based on the outline. And Nicky the Neck, in Camilla's world, look at his right hand. It doesn't have that ring. 2 years ago, Camila wants this ladies' nights because she's sick of being looked up and down, flirted with. She's sick of the velvet room being covered in cigars. But there is one person Camila does want to hit on her, and that's Nicky. But she realizes he is in love with his wife. That's almost the impetus that she has to buy up the Arconia apartments. Vince Fish. Like many of the Arconia residents, Vince is upset that he's being forced to move out of his Westie apartment. He's got a great life going. His Peloton is doing great. He's enjoying s5e music at his dance class. After Lorraine blows the bird call, Vince gets an update on his phone from a bird watching app, and Vince comes to the rescue. The bird call activated an auto video capture tool on a camera in the courtyard. Dr. Grover Stanley. When he finds out about the casino plan, Dr. Stanley thinks Manhattan could become a new Atlantic City with working people stripped of their paychecks and seedy pawn shops. And he sees the upside. Lots of possible new clients. He's ready to move out. I giggled so much at some of these jokes, even this little one where Oliver's like, listen, Charles and I, we're still here. And Dr. Stanley went, He gets Charles and Oliver to agree to a twofer therapy session. Soon it becomes a threefer when Detective Williams joins in, and she helps convince him to stay in the Arconia. But he has this realization too late, and his apartment is gone. Good news, Dr. Grover Stanley won't charge them for going over. And I want to give a tip of my cap to the show producers. Either last season or the season before, I complained that the producers needed to use all these characters in the Arconia like the Springfield residents on The Simpsons. We know their jokes, bring them back and do more of the jokes. So finally they brought back Dr. Grover Stanley. He does his jokes about always needing money and wanting cash. Great use of a supporting character. Loretta Durkin Putnam. When Loretta first moved to New York City, her roommate was a psychic, someone in touch with the spiritual world, and Loretta uses those techniques to try to push Camila for a confession. She doesn't get a confession, but she does find possibly the murder weapon of Lester. Oliver Putnam. Oliver finally works up the courage to tell Loretta he didn't want to move from the Arconia. Charles Hayden Savage. Charles had only been to a therapist once, but Charles's second therapy session, with Detective Williams included, really makes a breakthrough. He admits he's jealous of the relationship Oliver has formed with his wife Loretta. What do you guys think? Where will Charles go next for love? Mabel Mora. Speaking of love, Mabel having a hard time smiling, but in that dress, fire, hello. Woo. Now Mabel is thinking about that cutie Jay Fluke, and she even texts him. What do you guys think? Go down in the comments, tell me. Is this a bad move, a good move, or the best move? This is where we normally have the tinfoil hat theory part of the video, and maybe this is tinfoil, maybe not, but let's get to it. If Sophia was fooling around, who was Sophia fooling around with? Yes, she could have been fooling around with Randall the doorman, but I don't see it. I cannot remember off the top of my head. Have there been any scenes where both Sophia and Randall are in the same scene together? We've seen scenes of Sophia being in the same room as the mayor. We've seen scenes of Sophia being in the same room as Lester's wife, Lorraine. Could she have been fooling around with Teddy Demas, who we know from the flashback of episode 2 would bring women back to the Arconia who were not Mrs. Demas? But doesn't it feel likely that if Sophia was fooling around with anybody, it would be Mayor Tillman? Perhaps that explains why Mayor Tillman just happens to show up where Sophia is when she's on a date with Charles. He wants to stop her from being with somebody else. While revenge for Nicky the Neck's cheating is a good motive for possibly murdering him, the way Sophia described it earlier is Nicky the Neck had done it a lot. So you wouldn't assume that Sophia killed Nicky for cheating again, this time with Camila White. Would Nicky the Neck be so frustrated that his wife was fooling around with the mayor that he would take a meat cleaver and cut off the mayor's finger? Again, it's possible. This show has a weird vibe where it doesn't seem believable that somebody could cut off the mayor of New York City's finger and the world wouldn't know about it. Of course, this is also a world where somebody can completely redo a dining room and not make any sound and do it in a couple of minutes. So we have to accept that there is a chance that is the mayor's finger. Would the mayor be frustrated that his finger got chopped off by Nicky the Neck and then grab the cleaver and stab Nicky the Neck with it? Let's look at this hand on the meat cleaver again with that one little ring on the pinky of what we believe is the right hand. Now let's look at the mayor's hand. You'll note when he's talking to the podcast trio, the mayor is not wearing a ring. With the bandage on his right hand, it's impossible to tell if Jay wears a pinky ring. One of the few times we actually see Randall's hands, and they're not in gloves, he doesn't have a ring on either of his pinkies. The real estate agent who is selling Lester and Lorraine's house, he does have a ring on his pinky. It could possibly be similar, but what do you guys think? Let's focus back on the mayor. If the mayor killed Nicky the Neck, would he then kill Lester for seeing him kill Nicky the Neck? Let's go to the other option. If Camila White wants Nicky the Neck, could she go to Bash and say, create a video that makes it look like Sophia and the mayor are making out? Then, after doing this and getting Nicky on her side, what if Nicky suddenly wanted to return to Sophia? Would that be the final straw to get Camila to stab Nicky in the chest with the meat cleaver? In my video on episode 7, I talked about how there was physical evidence. Nicky was frozen. The only connection with anything that could cause freezer burn through these first 8 episodes is the chamber, the cryo chamber in Bash's house. I mentioned that it smelled like paint on Nicky the Neck's sleeve. It's white paint, and that ties to Camila White and her love of cream-colored things. Or is it white out and somebody was erasing something from Lester's ledger? You may see where I'm going with this. Because so many video elements have been manipulated, and the show is implying that only Bash could be involved in that process, Bash has to be involved in that process. It feels like there are 2 options for who the killer is. Either Camila White is the killer, and she manipulated things to go her way, or the mayor is the killer, and he's being blackmailed, probably by Bash and Camila, to give them the casino. He's like, who can ever get the mayor's missing finger could prove he's a killer. And so therefore, the mayor would have to give that person the rights to open a casino in New York City. This feels a bit like season 2, where we did have to flip a coin. Is it Poppy Becky or is it Cinda Canning who's the killer? In the end, I flipped the coin correct in that case and said Poppy Becky would be the killer. Now, it really feels like Camila White orchestrated all this stuff. But there is the text message, "It's beautiful," and how that is logically either autocorrect or a mistake of voice to text saying it's Bo Tillman. I want to give credit. I saw this "It's beautiful" becomes "It's Bo Tillman" text message idea on somebody whose handle is Tokyono, and it made a lot of sense to me. I'm going to flip a coin, and I'm going to go with you, listeners. You pick the mayor in the poll. So now, my official guess is the mayor. If it ends up being Camila White, get some egg on my face. I'll be ready. Now, there is a possibility that next week, episode 9 won't reveal who the killer is. That means we'll get to re-guess and reconfirm our choices, or choose new choices based on new evidence. Again, I hope episode 9 doesn't reveal the killer. This is fun. This is trying to figure it out. Thank goodness they give us this episode where there's some motives and some things that kind of tie everything together. What do you think? Go down in the comments. Didn't this episode almost redeem the season for those of you who didn't like it? And let's get to feedback and talk about people who had trouble with this season. Last week, I read some feedback of some people who weren't enjoying this season, and I asked you guys, hey, write down in the comments if you're liking this season or if you're maybe not so hot on this season. And so on the people who are still excited about the show, we have Kiki Kiwi, Sheila E., Tinkerbell, Kimberly K., Arctic Haze, Persia, Obi Clorio, Vincent Mariani, Anita. They are still down with the Arconiacs and enjoying this season. We had a couple like 671 Sun and Random Binge Watcher who are like, yeah, the season has some problems, but I still love it. That said, we also had some listeners who weren't enjoying this season as much. None of Your Biz, Lonely One, Gray Shadow, The Only Gaming DML, Master Search, and Brianna were all like, man, this is a tough call. In fact, Brianna wrote, I'd probably quit watching if I didn't enjoy listening to these reviews. Hey, Brianna, thank you so much. I'm still enjoying the show. I still get a lot of laughs. People in the comments were reminding me how much I liked the Bernie Sanders joke in episode 7. I think it's fun. The mystery has been kind of all over the place, but if they pull it together in these final 2 episodes, this is going to go down as one of the better seasons. Again, I want to know what you think. The comments are there. If you're listening on audio podcast, I've got all these ways to contact me. I want to talk to you. Moving on to other feedback, Kate M. wrote, I remember back in season 1, you referred to Uma as Bird Lady because at the time her name wasn't known, and now this season has to do with birds. Kate, that is a great memory. Yes, I called Uma the Bird Lady because the first thing we saw her do was shoot Charles the bird, and I thought that was funny. So it would be wild if Uma really was the bird person this season. Jackie Bishop wrote, I have come to a conclusion theory. I often observe what I do not see. I see no remorse from Nicky and Sophia's children. They do not look like men who are mourning their father. Great point. Kermit's Bad Day wrote, the killer is Bash Steed's son. Bash Steed's son accidentally killed Lester by pushing him over while playing a game of hide and seek or something like that. My evidence? Bash said he promised to be there to tuck in his son every night, and he hasn't missed even one. To Kermit, that proves that Bash brought his son to the Arconia the night of the murder. A couple of great members of the Clue crew, The Art of Intuition, wrote, I wonder if s5e was made popular by billionaires and now she has to help them out. I also think that Jay's injury is from frostbite when he was trying to freeze Nicky. As for the killer, I'm going with 2 killers. Randall killed Lester and the robot killed Nicky. The Claire Burgess wrote, what if some of the suspects are really just there because the trio needs them? Loretta was there because Oliver needed a character to support him. Oliver is divorced, his son had moved out. Loretta was there to support his journey. I think Althea is there as a new member of the Hardy Boys to give Mabel a friend. Charles is having this revelation that his actual family is the podcast trio, so maybe he will give up his desperate romantic pursuits and be content where he is. Great feedback. Next week is Season 5, Episode 9, Lester, told through the eyes of one annoying robot who may hold the key to more secrets than anyone realized. The Arconia throws one last party as the residents discover that a killer may still be in the building. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. The secret phrase is Rose all day. Please go down in the comments, leave Rose all day. It'll let me know you made it to the end. Hey, if you haven't, one more time, subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment. Can't wait to talk to you after episode 9.